Hello, we here?
I think we're here.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. I can't even, does it make a noise?
Yeah, I can hear you finger pounding on that. All right, you got the better setup, so.
No,
So
you
what?
pretty much have the same thing.
I need the foam. I need some
the around
around
me, yeah,
on the walls.
yeah,
The
yeah.
sound insulation.
Yeah. Get them cheap on Amazon. They come in like packs of like 10 or something.
Do they?
Just if you can, thumbtack it up or tape it up or whatever.
Tape it up.
So what's going on, man?
Oh, it's not 7 degrees below zero anymore. My pipes froze and my kitchen sink pipe froze. Thankfully, I acted quickly and got the hairdryer and defrosted it so it didn't splat my. I don't have copper. I have PEX. I don't know if you're familiar with that material.
No.
Apparently, when copper was getting out of control, cost wise, when I was having my house done, I was sold on this PEX stuff, and it's supposedly pretty good. I mean, I've had frozen pipes twice, and they haven't split yet. So, there's that.
And what does it do?
Essentially, it acts like copper. It's just it looks like plastic. It's a composite of plastic, epoxy, and something else, and it's basically your plumbing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It replaced copper.
Huh. Right.
So you're appropriately bored now. So we had that. Go ahead.
No pipes freezing down here, as you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on that. So we did have the council president had the state of the town address. I'm ashamed to say I don't know exactly when it was, but I did read up on it here in the local news rags. I definitely want to talk about that. That went on, and there's actually some there's some wins, I guess, which is good.
Yeah.
However, go ahead. I'm listening. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up that there's a finance and rules and ordinance meeting tomorrow night at 6:00 at the Harvey hearing room. February 7th, Tuesday, February 7th, 6:00 at the Harvey room. I guess on the agenda is town council vote to approve to amend the code of ordinance for the wetlands, right? Town council amend original water main bonds loan order motion. It's a big.
It's a lot of words salad.
It's a lot of words. Yeah. The water main bonds loan order motion amount of $2,912,000 that was voted on June 21st, 2022, with a positive recommendation and increase to $4,890,101. So I'll get back to that. Then the town council vote to appropriate $143,900 water retained earnings to pay for the Revere Street PRV project. Town council to vote to appropriate $69,989.04 for monitoring and compliance module for the gas fob. And the town council vote to transfer $6,000 from the finance department, $4,800 conservation salary line for BOA. I don't know what salary line. When it comes to the budget, I'm not a. So let's get back to the. So they want to they want to amend an original water main bonds loan order motion amount of $2,912,000 that was voted on in last June, with a positive recommendation and increase to $4,890,101. Can you tell me what that means? It doesn't sound good. Do you have any idea what that's?
Well, I know when they amend motions and increase, right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
They went from 2 point something million to 4 million. Was that correct?
I love the wording with a positive recommendation. And
right, so that probably means it came out of finance with a positive recommendation from the finance committee, which would include people like Shannon Poulos, who thankfully we have her. She's kind of like silent. I don't want to say silent death, but silent surveillance, right? Because she's an SVP in the banking world. She's very, very bright, very accomplished young woman, and she's dug up some really interesting stuff. So she's got her eye on the budget. So there's probably some validity to it.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know if it's part of the TIPS program where that extra money is infused from the state, right? Because remember, we're getting grant money from the state to pay for the bike lane to nowhere.
Maybe. Right? Is that it? Wasn't
there's nobody. I mean, the one guy we had, I haven't heard from him. His name's escaping me at the moment, and he was influential. He knows, he knows a lot about how this stuff gets done, and he just he must have read up and said, "No, we got nothing. We're done."
All right.
I mean, I talked to Jeff about it. He's like, "You're not changing it. If you want the money, it's too late."
Yeah. All right. Well, bike lane that won't get used, and
no. The parents will drive in it during school.
That's what I mean. It'll get ignored as a bike lane.
Yeah,
because no one in their right mind is going to ride in that bike lane. Nobody.
Wait a minute. Mrs. Waller's bike rodeo could now end at the bike lane to nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. Good luck. I'd love to see the video of her riding her bike up that bike lane, up that hill, then coast down the hill, in the morning or in the afternoon, either way, or in the wintertime, in February.
By the church you're talking about?
The Revere Street. That's like one of the...
Oh, right, but her rodeo starts at Ingleside, so she'd have to go up. I wanted
it. The rodeo thing is cool. Hey, listen, I have no problem with that, really. You know what I mean? I think that stuff, it gets the town together, it gets people together. It's not, it's not making a change to everybody's life. It's not trying to affect everybody's life. And I'm not opposed to people riding bikes either. It's just be safe. And that bike lane is not going to be safe. It's just not. You better wear a helmet, shoulder pads, gloves.
Have some fun with that one.
Hockey gloves, because you're going to be in it. All right, so that's going on tomorrow night. If you're interested in the Finance Committee in rules and ordinance, what do you guys have, the rules and ordinance? What's your relevance to this?
The only thing rules and ordinances, Rules and ordinance was given the ORC report, the Ordinance Review Committee report, before the council took it up. That was an unnecessary step, but Jim thought it would be a good idea to have him take a look at it. So if you actually get technical, Stephen Ruggiero had 4 bites at the apple, has 4 bites at the apple now.
Yeah.
Because so that's, but they also, here's an interesting thing. They've been talking about making a flag policy. Now, if you recall, they were going to mirror the city of Boston flag policy. And as we know, the city of Boston lost $1 million lawsuit to the Christian group for their first freedom, their first rights violation. So I'm not sure why it's now taking the Rules and Ordinance Committee so long to put forward a policy.
Well, they cherry picked. They cherry picked every city and state in Massachusetts, and they came up with whose is it? It's like Wilmington's or something like that. They're like, hey, that one fits what we want. I'm telling you, they're setting themselves up. And the people on that are going to try to propose this do not care because it's not their money. But the town is going to get sued. They will get sued. It's going to be, that is a fact.
Let me tell you
something. That is a fact. They will get sued.
I will pull a permit for my Gadsden flag, and I will sue, and I will make $1 million or whatever it is, and I will do it. I'm saying it right now.
And I'm with you.
Because I want to protect they don't get it. Massachusetts, American, POW, that's it. That's it.
And why they insist on wanting to do it there when they have the cultural center, they can fly it all year round.
It's just another example, whether intended or not, of being completely oblivious to the fact that there are people, a lot of them, who disagree with you. And you have to consider their feelings and thoughts on this as well.
It's petulance. It's anger. The Democratic Party is made up of weak men and angry women. Okay? That's all this is. And they're angry. They're angry women.
Al Gore. You got Al Gore.
Yeah, weak man. Weak man. Beta males and angry women. So let them do it. They will get sued. And I'm making that known. So there's no secret. There is no secret here. And if they want to roll those dice, well, good luck. Good luck. And I know, so that actually is a good segue. That's a good segue into, let me see. Here it is. Congratulations to attorney Cipolletta.
Yes. Right?
Yep. He is now the law firm or the lawyer that represents the town of Winthrop, right?
Right. So first of all, taking a step backwards, again, Anthony, Tony, Marino, town manager Marino, whatever he prefers to be called, Mr. Marino. This guy's the real deal. He came in, he was in agreement with us as a community, at least those of us who thought we should try our luck at a new law firm. He was on board. And so this is another feather in his cap for getting it done. The good news about Cipolletta is he's very familiar with the zoning laws. And that's kind of a big thing going on in the state now. And it's obviously a big thing in Winthrop. As you know, the council did move forward with the Ordinance Review Committee's proposal to remove the use variance language so that the developers have to go through a much more rigorous process. And we'll get to more of that as we go throughout the show. But yeah, so Cipolletta, I happen to have met him a couple times when I was helping Jeff Turco get elected. I met him. He put a sign on his lawn. Very nice guy, very capable from what I understand, but I'm not a lawyer, so time will tell. It's also important to share that we do have a backup, not a backup. We have Mead and oh, hold on. Oh, I got my light right here. Tallerman as special counsel for other issues outside of like zoning and bylaws and the like. And we're not paying them a retainer. So this is going to be a savings, and we think an improvement. So bravo.
We're confident that the town will be well served.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I want to go backwards a little bit, Scott, because we were talking earlier about, things that don't make sense. Yeah. And I just, some folks that might be watching tonight or watching this live stream throughout the week probably may not have caught last week when we were talking about the Ordinance Review Committee. I think it's worth just repeating a couple of things. Because I think, again, it's important that the general public knows what happened. So I'll go super quickly here. The Ordinance Review Committee took up the charter. We wanted to look at it to see if there were areas we could make improvements and how the town is governed. We made some recommendations to change the size and length of term for the councilors because we believed having a smaller council, having a shorter term would attract more people to try and run. We backed it up with data, 80 some odd % uncontested races, 10 years of a vacant building. I mean, I could go on and on about the things that have taken a long time to deal with. We're finally addressing a new fire station. We'll talk about that soon. But we haven't done anything since the 1800s with our fire station. So to say that the council didn't need some addressing is unfair. However, at this point, what's done is done. And I've tried to make that clear to some of the folks I'm friendly with on the council, but I think it's important for me from a therapeutic perspective and for people who may be interested. I think it's important to have a brief conversation about how we're being asked by the counselors who voted against these recommendations, these major recommendations that were a shot at us getting better quality counselors. They took that choice away from the people. And okay, what's done is done. But for me, and for anyone else considering them as candidates, how do you reconcile the irreconcilable? So, and let me just lay it out for you, Scott, okay? You are on the Ordinance Review Committee, and you have put the proposals forward. I'm the precinct counselor in your precinct, and I'm saying to you, I don't like any of the changes with regard to the makeup of the council. And I make an offhanded comment to you that, but I wish I could survey the town. Because this is hard, because I don't think it's a good idea. I wish we could survey the town. And we have that brief offhanded conversation. And then later on down the road, after you make the vote against it, in a text to me that we're having a discussion, maybe a debate, an argument, whatever it might be, you say in another, with regard to a debate on what we disagree on in terms of what the charter says, you say nowhere in the charter does it imply, and I quote, us to lay down our better judgment to let the voters decide the minutia of how we are governed. See, because my argument is it's government of, for, and by the people. So my point is, who's better judgment? Since when is your judgment better in this situation?
So the thing is this. It's not like every single issue that goes up in front of the town council, the people need to vote on it. No, Correct. They do serve their purpose.
Correct.
And they, all year long, throughout their whole term, they probably have, say, over 98% of what goes in front of them, right? Now, what is the problem with a couple of things going to the voters, right? They want 100% control over everything. The voters don't know this. The voters have no idea that these proposals are put in front of them and put in front of these town councilors, and they know that. They know that. And what?
I would add, by the way, I had another conversation with this particular counselor, and we talked about, I made the comment, you have to trust the electorate. And his response to me was, I'm surprised to hear you say you trust the electorate. What? And I'm sitting there going, I'm not the one who's trying to remove choices from them. You are.
What was that? What's the rationale or reasoning behind that comment?
The whole point of this all is I was trying to reconcile the irreconcilable. I can politically, I have to be able to trust you. And that, if I can't make sense of it, if you can't put logic behind your vote, which there's no logical reason, because in the same breath, when you say the charter does not imply blah, 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 it also doesn't imply you should dismantle the work of the committee that was appointed by the council, who spent 50 plus hours per head, looking at this stuff, deliberating it, debating it. You had ample opportunity to come during those meetings and weigh in. And you had someone from the council on there which
shouldn't happen, which should
weighed
not
in
happen
multiple times. I mean, again, what's done is done. All I can, in the interest of us all moving forward and trusting our government, because right now, the council's as divided as the people are. Some people trust, the folks who voted that stuff down. Some people don't.
But look at the group of the caucus that all voted together. That's what you're getting. And one of them was on your committee. This stuff should be separate from anybody on the town council. It needs to be presented to them fresh, right? Instead of having a town councilor on that committee, Rules and Ordinance Committee, that after every meeting, he's on the phone to at least 3 other councilors, and they're already prepping yes and no's. I can't think that didn't happen. It did happen. It had to. I mean,
a private email was sent to the council president. And one of the comments in the private email sent to not necessarily a private email, but an email was sent to a select few to the council president. And the comments in the email were, I hope you're going to address this to the entire council. Oh my God, I've lost my train of thought. Where are we going with this, dude? Now,
No. I was saying that there should not be anybody on the town council on that committee, because they go right after after your committee meeting, and they go and call 3 other councilors, and they're like, this is a yes or this is a no. This is what's going to happen. It should all be presented to them fresh.
Yeah,
that's my point.
That's right. I do agree with that. I thought Jim was putting Stephen on the council. He's the counselor that's on the committee. Ruggiero was a nice gesture, but unnecessary. And I thought, it gave him an extra vote, or actually turned out to be not quite 2 extra votes, 1.5 votes. I mean, his work on the Rules and Ordinance Committee didn't really count for a vote. It didn't really mean anything. It just was a recommendation, I guess, coming out of the subcommittee to the council, which, it did influence some of the vote. I mean, he made the argument that the Lowell or Lawrence lawsuit, where they felt like they didn't have the right representation because they had all at large, and it was like a group of 5 guys from one part of town, predominantly white area. And the makeup of Lowell and Lawrence, those communities have a much different demographic than Winthrop, and they're much bigger. So that lawsuit doesn't really apply. It wouldn't happen here.
No, doesn't happen.
You wouldn't have a brown population suing a white population. It's not big enough. They'd have no case.
We covered that last week. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, they have control over 98%. Why not? Whatever the Rules and Ordinance Committee puts up there that's within reason, let the people let go of that 1% or that 0.5% of issues that they won't get to vote on. Let the people vote on it, but they don't. And there's always an ulterior motive behind saying no to something like that.
They can have the opinion, in my opinion, Scott, they can have the opinion that the charter gives them that right. It doesn't explicitly say either way. So they can infer that all they want, but their inference does not reconcile with democracy. It doesn't reconcile with government of, for, and by the people. And all I wanted out of them at this point was, hey, just acknowledge that so I can know that we're all being honest, because you're not acknowledging that tells me you don't believe that, which is incongruent. It's not possible to reconcile those 2 thoughts, that you want to have the people, you want to survey the people before the vote. So one part of you wants to give the people a voice, but the other part of you says you can't lay down your better judgment. You were elected to be the brains of the outfit. And I got accused of, I throw words around like it's arrogant, it's
pompous,
authoritarian, pompous. It's tyrannical is probably too strong a word. I don't know what the right word is. And I'm not here saying these people are malicious. I'm saying that's how it's received. I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks this. I'm just the only one that talks about it. Because I guess I got nothing better to do with my life.
No, I mean, it is. This is why we're here. This is letting the people know that there are people in the town council that do not want them to vote on certain issues that would be relevant to them. They only talk for precincts. They don't talk for the whole town, and that's the problem. So that's why you get this little caucus of Ruggiero and Aiello and Hone and Flockhart and a couple others, that they all get in their little sewing circle, and they all plot and plan, and then they all vote together. And Hannah is right in there with them. I don't care. You're either in or you're out. There's no walking the line. She's in with them. She's
Apparently.
in with it. And that doesn't mean she's not a bad person. Hannah's a wonderful, wonderful person. Just don't like the business that she's conducting.
Well, I,
You
I,
know,
I, I, her
and
and I
she's
have,
new, and so she's influenced
her
because
and I
she's
have
new.
talked ad nauseum about stuff. She's a very empathetic person.
Yeah, no, she's a wonderful person.
That's
Yes,
part of the
yes.
that's part of the issue. It's
I
hard
don't
for
have a
her to
bad thing to say
separate,
about her. Yeah, I
but
can say some
it's
bad things about some others, but
right. But but
she's
you
not
just
one of them.
there's no getting around the fact that if you think that the people shouldn't vote on these things, like if you listen to the meeting, all that was said was, "I don't like it. We don't think this is good for the town. I don't think it's not solving a problem." These are all your
No,
opinions, and you're entitled to them. But you're forcing your opinion on the electorate, is
you
what you
just
did.
said something. You just said something. No one counselor has the right in that situation to use the word we, because when they say we don't like it, that means they've already talked, and that's what we call in law enforcement a spontaneous utterance. That
Yeah.
person just spoke for the other people that they already made a deal behind the closed doors or over the phone or over text. No one counselor should ever say we. Never. And if they do, then that means they're in that little caucus. They
What
spoke
is
for
the
them.
what is the I forget the word, but you can use we. I know what you're saying. Let's
In
put it
that
that way.
situation, a counselor should never say we.
Yeah, when you're a counselor, it's like you can say we can do this as a council. I don't know.
Yeah, how it's used. But when you're answering a question and
You
you
should
say,
be
we
careful with
don't
it.
like this,
Yeah.
we don't think it works, we don't think, unless that's the town council president and they've already taken a vote and now they're addressing the vote, and the vote was no, so to speak, then they can say, we don't like it because we spoke as a group, right? But one counselor addressing a question should never say, from a single person, should never say we. Never.
Mm.
I. Like Rob DeMarco last week never said we, he always said I.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't vote for that. I didn't like that. I liked that. He never said we.
Well, that was funny because it was interesting because, we've beaten this up pretty good, but I'll leave it here, at least for me. When we were serving and we were in meetings, I sat next to Kurt Millar, and Kurt, I mean, he would kind of verbalize to me his struggle with, I know I like these things, but I have to separate my liking for these things and ensure that I'm putting these through for good reason. Because just because I like it doesn't mean the whole town likes it, right? That doesn't mean it should go forward, right? It should go forward because there might be other people who like it. Um, the point being, the point being, you had thoughtful people like Kurt Millar, checking himself, thoughtful people like myself checking myself. I had to constantly sit back and say, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm not forcing this on anybody. The people get to decide. In fact, if the inverse happened, look, if here's an example. Let's say the pride flag debate was part of rules and ordinance. It was part of the charter. You want to put it on the charter? Let the people decide. I would put it out there. Let them vote on it. I would never, ever, ever deny the people a right to vote on something on how they are to be governed, unless the idea is so ridiculous, that you've got legal people from all sides of the planet coming at you saying you're setting yourselves up for a lawsuit. Other than that, it should be allowed to be voted on. You have to
Yeah.
trust the electorate.
They want to deal
They
with the
can get
pride
it right
flag,
to
then
elect
put
you.
it
They
to a
can get
vote.
it right. That's
If
right.
they put it to a vote, put it to the people.
It's
We will be
it's-
more than happy to promote that vote to the people in Winthrop. And I guarantee you there would be probably more people coming out to vote than ever before, because it's a contentious. Anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Before we get to Jim, I have one more thing. Somebody sent me a text saying the Board of Appeals recently voted to allow construction of 27 apartments on the site, which is currently occupied by the Executive Apartments on Veterans Road, directly across the street from Miller's Field and the new dog park. The new apartments will be included in a brand new 4-story building that will be built on the north side of the existing buildings on the site of the Executive Apartments, which is that big empty parking lot behind them. So that's 27, that's at least 40 more cars on the roads of Winthrop, which is why I still, Todd, my friend, my friend. This is why I want to get back to what we talked about last week. A boutique hotel, no, in another sheet of ice is a great idea, but think about this. What if there's a tournament and that boutique hotel is sold out just by people that are coming in to visit Winthrop, or they're visiting Revere, and it's not there for tournaments, so to speak. It's just a hotel because that's what it would be. It's not a specific hotel. It would be a 30-room, like if my wife and I came to visit Winthrop and I didn't want to do an illegal Airbnb. We're not done with that yet. So that 30-room boutique hotel wouldn't really serve any good to the hockey. As an idea, it's great, but it wouldn't work that way. That's why I say that high school, that junior high, has to just be leveled. I think making it nothing is the best option. Making it open space is the best option for the town and for the people in the surrounding area. I'm just saying.
I don't know about that because guess what? I'm glad you mentioned this.
Yes.
So I just found out today that the Woburn Teachers Union, they went on strike, which is illegal in Massachusetts, but sure as heck it paid off. The teachers settled at 15% over 3 years, 1.5, and the ESPs 40% over 3 years. They have the Woburn, the Mass Teachers Association.
Look at the size of Woburn, number
Woburn
one.
School Committee, the Woburn Teachers, they have screwed the pooch for everybody else because look, if you're going to mediation in Winthrop because we're not settled with our ESPs, the mediator has to. You just look. You point to Woburn and say Woburn gave 40%. We can't get 10.
But look at Woburn's budget. Look at Woburn's budget.
Look at where they get all. It doesn't matter. That's what happens.
It's bigger than Winthrop, which is all you have to say.
The most unfair things that on the planet. There's nothing fair about them.
Right.
Everybody's going to be beholden to that number. It's frightening.
Yeah. Well, it's coming one way or another. It has to be. It's either going to
get out of Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're turning it to California. That's step one.
Well, there's a handful of people that are happy about that.
Well, but we don't have the weather, so some of these people are going to be very upset. It's chilly up here.
So back to what I was saying, that the middle school, I'm telling you, the best bet for the town is make it nothing. And are they going to survey the people in the surrounding area if there is going to be a hotel or a business or anything? Now that's when you take a survey. That's when you put it out and you have the meetings and you have the meetings.
They have to have hearings.
They will come out, I guarantee it, in the hundreds. They'll come out and say, no.
I will tell you this. As part of Jim's State of the Union, just give me 1 second here.
Yeah, that pretty much I had the thing. If we want to address that, we can go down the line because
well, he's committing to do a bunch of things. But so let's just start at the top. First of all, so he gave a State of the Union or State of the Town address. Forgive me, I don't know the date. I missed it, but
it's recent.
I'm looking at it in the paper. Yeah, it's recent, very recent. And he wanted to. So some good things happened, and I tend to agree with him here. The first on his list was hiring Tony Marino. Say it again, the real deal. So I won't spend a lot of time on that. Suffice it to say that the one thing about Tony is he's the complete 180 of Austin Faison, our former guy, who, this guy's here night and day. Austin was nowhere to be found.
Right.
He's also filled some positions. So this is important news for the residents of Winthrop. We now have an assessor, a treasurer, and a CFO that have been hired alongside the town planner. So we've had a town planner here. I kind of think the story I got was we kind of overhired-ish or underhired or something hired for that position, and it was too much. It was a dual role. But now it seems with the hiring of the CFO, everything's correct. And the good news is
the chief financial officer, right?
Yes,
CFO.
The chief financial officer is also going to be the school's business officer, which is interesting because there are active school committee members and active council folks who So Jeff Turco proposed the idea a long time ago to merge, to have one, try to merge the administrative pieces where you can with school and the town. Finance was one of them. He took a beating for it, but it seems now that, because it's someone else's idea, we're going to stay with it. But I was always a big fan of it. So that's good news. Completion of the new tennis courts across from the middle high school. So the new middle high school, we finally got those tennis courts completed. That was good. The Central Business District project. So this is actually a big deal, right? You saw the Somerset. I mean, what did you think, Scott, of the Somerset?
I thought it was wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The way I think we talked about it last week that it fit in, but I found something interesting out. Somebody was kind of checking around, and they saw some cars parked over by CVS, and they noticed some people walking through the alley going over to Somerset. So I think some people in Somerset are parking over outside of they have parking spots, right?
Yes.
So, which the person thought was kind of odd. It does take away from parking spots for consumers that want to go into CVS.
I'm not sure they're supposed to park there. I think that's CVS only.
But nobody, I mean, even across the street, then you got Christopher's Flowers. There's people parking there, and they're walking through the alley, going over to Somerset, which, that's the downside of all that. But it's done. What's done is done. Well, you can't pick you live there, over. You can't park here.
But that's not over. And look, all we have to do is look to Jeffrey's point. The parking is a nightmare over there. People are constantly bickering at each other about the parking. It's a nightmare, and it's coming here because that
it's
every
happening.
building down that center is going up. Yeah. They're all going to start going up because they can.
So let's backtrack to what I just said about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You level the high school, you make it an open space, trees, benches, trees, a nice fountain, a town fountain, in 50 parking spots, right down the line from right at the front door where the junior high is, or the old junior high is right now, all the way down to where the gym is. Spot. That will alleviate a lot of, because people are already getting used to walking. And that was the mindset of the people that set up this thing. People, they're going to walk. They'll complain at first, but ultimately they're going to walk to the center, to the Blackstrap, or to Hong Kong.
Don't forget the bike lanes that are going to go in. Stop! You're missing out on the bike lanes. The bike lanes are coming. The bike lanes are coming.
and that we'll cross that. But I'm saying that's the best deal for the town right there. You're not going to get revenue that's going to make a difference out of that piece of property. They're not. It's becoming.
They're not going to get it. Listen, but they're not going to get it even out of the Somerset. It's not. I mean, they're 80% sold, I guess.
Yeah, they're condos. Condos pay nothing in
we are not.
They pay nothing.
We'll get more tax revenue, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough, and that's why I say that level that thing, make it at least nice place for the town. It'll be beautiful in the winter and the Christmas, and if they celebrate Christmas. Next year, there better be a tree with freaking ornaments on it.
I'm going down with a box.
That was a disaster.
I'm going to go down with a box.
I'm going to go back on that for 1 second. That was just an ugly tree sitting in the middle of nothing on cement. Like, okay, the thought was there, but it was not executed well. The plan was not executed well. It was just looked like a tree just sitting there, right? It looked better before when you had the circle and all those oak trees in there, and they just wired randomly lights everywhere. That looked better, right? So anyways, that should be open space. No, nothing that they can think of putting there is going to offset any revenue or taxes or anything that they think it will. And again, the people in the neighborhood, they're forgetting about them. See, they're coming up with it should be this, it should be that. The people in the neighborhood, just like the people on Shore Drive, should have a say in it, and they will. I guarantee they will. All those streets will come out in force and say, we don't want a hotel there. Our streets are already congested. So that's just, again, and I know you disagree with me, and that's fine.
Well,
I
no,
but
I could go either way personally, but if they want to try to raise any meaningful revenue, developing condos or micro condos or apartments or whatever they're calling these efficiencies, whatever they're calling them, does not create the room in the budget. It doesn't. We've tried it. We've done it a million times with the place down on Pleasant
maybe
Street.
there's no answer, Todd. Maybe there's just no answer.
Oh, there is. There really is an answer. It's how you manage your payroll.
Okay.
We are very inefficient with our payroll because
and you've been saying that for 2 years now. Yes.
Same. You got someone. Listen, dude. It's all about utility of your position. Every job provides a utility to the company or the municipality. Okay, a CFO is far more valuable to a municipality than, I'm sorry, someone who's emptying trash barrels and cleaning up the kids' puke. I realize it has to be done. I have no disrespect to those people. I love them the same. In fact, I probably like them better as people than I would a CFO. But the CFO is a very highly skilled, sought out position. It's not everyone can do it, so it costs more money. Unfortunately, in the magic land of rainbows and unicorns and pots of gold at the end of the rainbow, everybody should be paid the same. And you know what that fosters? Oh, he's making the same as me and I'm working twice as hard. I'm ratcheting down my effort. Yeah. We need math teachers in the worst way in our school district. We don't need kindergarten teachers. The level of education is actually more for the math teacher or the physics teacher. It's more money, but their starting salaries are the same.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that equation.
There's something seriously wrong with this.
Anyway, we're supposed to be on the good news now.
yeah. So again, that's my spiel. And I'm going to continue to push that. I think it would be a beautiful thing for Winthrop, and I am trying to get a rendering done of what it would look like without that building there as an open space. I don't want to call it green space because that's too liberal.
Yeah,
it's an open space. Trees, benches, and think about that. A nice fountain in the summertime. Bring families together. They can have. There's so much potential there for the town. Nothing they put there is going to make revenue enough to make a difference. So start thinking the other way, people. Or it would have been done by now.
Well,
anyways, let's get to Jim's State of the Town address.
Yeah, so
you went down to. I went down about 5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The big thing. The big thing is one of the big things he talked about was the center business district. Right now, a lot of people can't see it. Right, you drive through there, you look at the green space, in the middle.
The cement space.
Cement space that was supposed to be grass, but when those trees grow in, it will look better. But getting the infrastructure settled down there was an important move. It was long overdue.
Yeah.
And in fact, not to beat things up, but this is a great kind of learning moment for people to understand that they need to pay attention to their local politics. Had we kept up with the maintenance of our underground infrastructure, 30, 40 years ago, when we knew there were major leaks in the sewer pipes underground and the like, had we done it then, it wouldn't have cost so much now. But again, that's just the reason why people should be paying attention to this stuff, because it does get ignored. Maintenance gets ignored and you don't see it because it's underground. It's inside the schools that you're not in anymore, etc. We also talked about the E.B. Newton clock tower. So apparently that got a facelift. I had no idea it was happening. We have
thank you, Richie Farino.
Yeah, Richie Farino,
a big former town councilor.
How'd you know?
Long time friend of mine. He did it quietly, man, and that's the way Richie does things, man. He just has always been like that. Yeah. He had a lot to do with that, and God bless him for that. And he did it again without any fanfare. That was some dedication. Him and I believe Bob Gillis. Bob Gillis had God rest his soul, had he assisted up there and he donated, I guess, to that. Another one who's kind of quiet about that whole thing. So they got the clock tower. Yeah.
Yep, they got the clock tower done. Um, and then Jim wanted to hail, celebrate the Somerset project that we were just talking about. I guess it's a total of 29 units. I think they're saying that they're at 80% sold. I don't know how many parking spots are under it. I think there might be maybe one a unit. I'm not sure, or one and a half a unit or something. I don't know
Probably
how
the
many
minimum.
are there,
Probably the minimum. Yeah.
right? Um, I don't see a lot of issues down the center with parking, but then again, I'm not down there all the time. And I haven't had to commute out of Winthrop during rush hour, so I'm not the right person to ask. But I do notice the times I do leave Winthrop in the morning, sometime around rush hour, I feel like the traffic's back and worse than it's ever been.
It's
And
of
that,
course it is.
yeah, I
It's
don't know, and and I think part of it is because, like in East Boston, like in Winthrop now, like in Revere, you're building all of these housing. You're building all this housing. It comes with cars, especially even if
we've
it's
been
not
saying
meant
that.
to have families. Families end up moving in. People get pregnant by accident, whatever. People can't afford a big house. They buy they live in a place like that. You have to have a certain amount of low income housing in there. So don't tell me there's not going to be additional cars in there. Families need vehicles. They don't need scooters. So, at the end of the day, it's a good project though. Overall, it is what it is. It's nice. It's certainly better than the rat infested eyesore that the old CVS store was.
Yeah.
And we'll it look. How many years ago did we build Seal Harbor? We thought that was the answer to our tax prayers, our financial prayers, and it's not.
And Fort Banks too.
Yeah.
Fort Banks
Well,
before Fort Heath. Yeah.
our kids who may remain here and become the future leaders of this town will be having this discussion. Hopefully, they'll carry on and win the votes.
Well, yeah, yeah. And that's what it used to be. It's Seal Harbor now, but when I was growing up, it was Fort Heath.
That's right.
The Fort Heath apartments.
That's right. Well, remember when the golf ball was there and it was
Fort Heath. That whole area was Fort Heath. Yeah.
There was a significant amount of pavement restoration done over 2022. So I have to give credit for that. Although I get the reason why Revere Street isn't completely fixed because they're just going to be digging it up again. But man, it is bumpy going out into out of into Revere. That is one horrible ride.
They
but
did.
They
go on.
I'm
sorry.
No, go ahead.
They did a good job on Bartlett Road. I know that because that's where I stay when I come up there, and particularly in front of I think it's 145 Bartlett Road. There was I think it's, speaking of trees, it's one of the oldest trees in the town. It's in front of my
Road,
yeah. My friend Jimmy Hurley. It's in front of his house, and he took particular care to tell the workers, don't fuck with this tree. Pardon my language. That slipped out. Don't mess with this tree. Make sure this tree, because it's I guess one of the oldest trees in the town. It's over 100 years old. Yeah, and
it's on the street, huh?
And actually, I think Marino came out and he talked to Jim, I think, and they put a new sidewalk in, and it's not out into the street, no, but when they're digging up the sidewalk, there's a root system under there. It wasn't doing it, but he made sure, and the town manager came out and he said, I don't want this tree dying, because how oaks work, if you cut one root, a piece of it will die.
Yes.
So they did a great job. The town did a great job on that, although it took a little more time to fix that. But I give them credit because I've seen it from over the past year coming and going to Winthrop, and it's finished. They did a good job. They took care of that tree.
And I'll tell you, he did actually. Jim went through great pains, if you will, to thank everybody, to try to remember to thank everybody. Despite what some people may say, Winthrop votes, and I know I can speak for you when I say this, we appreciate the hard workers that we have in our community. It doesn't mean we can't be critical of them, and by the way, of the humans that aren't carrying their weight, because you know what? It happens.
Listen, and let's stick on that for a second.
Yeah.
So no matter who I might not agree with, and who, as on the town council, I can never take away from them the fact that they step up and they serve.
That's right.
Now, when you serve, you open yourself up to criticisms and accolades, right?
That's right.
So as much as I might disagree with, I'll just say Tracy Honan, I can never I'll always give her credit for running for office, because that is a thankless job that they don't get paid enough for. And I think people like her and the rest of them should get paid more for what they do. So yes, congratulations to everybody, all those hard workers. Not congratulations, but yeah, we give them all the credit in the world. You know, except for the head of the Board of Health.
Oh, dude,
I know.
you got to get Kurt on here to chop it up with us. Did you hear about the chicken
No,
coop?
I can't. I'm finding it hard to like that guy. I really am finding it very hard to like the Bill Schmidt, the head of the board, because the more I hear, the harder it is. Like, I could sit down with any one of those people in the town council, whether they like me or not. I could sit down with them and have a normal, friendly conversation with them. I don't know if I could do it with that guy.
With Ignatowski?
I don't know if I could.
Know.
I just don't know if I could.
I couldn't.
I would need Father Walter there to guide me through that whole thing. Be there as my conscience and my guide.
Be the angel on the one shoulder. You'll have me on the other one going,
Scott. All right. But enough of him. We will have Kurt on. Parking in the center will never be a problem, no matter how many apartment condos that will be built. No reason to go there. Oh. Hey.
What, you don't like the food?
I got to tell you, listen, I've said this. I think I said this last week. The worst Chinese food up in Massachusetts is better than the best Chinese food down here. Now, when I first got up there, I went to Kowloon's and everybody's like, dude, really? I didn't know any better. I thought it was good, right? But it wasn't, come to find out, because Hong Kong Dragon, they need to sponsor the show. They got the best Chinese food.
The Chinese food's great.
I went there on my own. One night I just needed some me time. It was a cold night. Had a why I was up there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy. My trip up there was not of leisure. It was tasking and stressful. And I sat there one night by myself and I ordered my food and I was just happy. Like, this is good. Todd, I'm telling you, I am not making this up. I was happy, right? I had the pork fried rice with the shrimp and lobster sauce and the chicken fingers and the boneless spare, right? And I have it, and I'm happy. I pay my bill. I give a good tip to the girl, right? And then I open the door, and I get punched in the face by this blast of cold air, and I just went miserable again.
That's just like a big F you.
I was like, I was just happy. I was in a zone of Chinese food. Dude, go to the Hong Kong Dragon. They should sponsor this show. I'll give them a plug every week.
Dragon. Yeah, I know.
Good, man. That's
I love it. They're better there than delivery, though. They're getting a little lazy on delivery. I got to go talk to them.
I want step it up, man.
I get at the store I delivered, and it's not always the case.
Dude, we get this place. It's called Faux Boca, right? It's down the street. If you go to pick it up, right, it's good. But if you have it delivered, if you eat there, you get a good quantity. But if you're picking it up, they don't deliver. If you pick it up, you're guaranteed you're going to get shorted because they know you don't check. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Food, this is all the town has. And you know what? I always said, let it be known as a restaurant town.
Now,
it's good for the businesses. It's good for
we could shut down. If we had the will on the council, we could shut down the center to cars on weekends, have a band playing that little, have outdoor seating and bands or music or some type of entertainment in that common area during the warm weather. We could do that. I mean, we could make it a different community.
Yeah. Do you know, right? They do know, the people that designed that down that circle, right? They do know that technology today has become so advanced in fake grass that it would never be dulled. It would never be dull. It would look perfectly. They put it in school playgrounds, in the stuff,
do it.
even in the Florida sun, in the heat, in the rain, in the summer.
It's not too late.
Stuff looks good. If they did that, just put down that artificial grass, that would look. Then you're talking. Now you're talking. It's nice for families and kids, and the cement thing just doesn't cut it, man. The cement thing. Someone got cheap in the end. They got cheap on the budget in the end. But let's get back to Jim. What else did he say?
So kind of tying this back to the ORC, taking a shot any chance I can real quick. Well, we won't go too far. Okay. Well, one of the reasons, so one of the things we heard over and over again is why fix what's not broken? The council's not broken. Okay. We haven't done a thing with our fire stations since the 1800s.
Thanks.
We are finally getting a commitment from Mr. Lettieri that they're going to, I commit with the support of this council to bring before the voters this November an extremely well thought out, long overdue plan to build a new fire station. Hallelujah. Now, they're going to come to the voters for a debt exclusion. So get ready to open up your wallets again. I don't think it's now's the time to do it, Mr. Lettieri, because, the current situation's not so good.
Well, everything in a state of the town has to be positive.
Of course.
If it comes to fruition, it does. If not, it has to be positive. But I'm sure there's people out there that are like, okay, all right, I'll pay for that.
How's this? Here's another thing he said. I am hoping this council will commit to addressing a flag policy, which will enable us to secure a 3-pole system at the E.B. Newton site, enabling us to honor all that is important to this town, said Lettieri. So the plan I think they're talking about, well, hold on, not so fast, Tonto.
E.B. Newton is fine.
But it's still public grounds. That's the issue. So if I get rejected, because if they fly the pride flag up there, I'm going to fly my Gadsden flag.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm fine, but it has to be applied evenly. So if you're watching the show, anybody on the council, do your homework. The E.B. Newton is owned by the government. Be careful. Be careful. Anyway.
Why can't they be happy with the cultural center? Why can't they be happy with that?
Why don't here's a better thing. Just get a permit for a day.
Petulance.
Just why do you have to have a whole month? Even the old you can talk to Father Walter about this. I don't believe I'm speaking out of school. He and I have spoken about this. The old school, what do they call them? The old OGs, the LGB. They don't want it. They didn't want a whole month. Pride Day is fine. Pride Week.
So OG is original gangsters. So I guess OG in that world be original gays.
Yeah. Oh, LGB.
Just saying. Just saying. No. That's what it was. I mean, they were a single term.
They're not overly uptight. They're good.
Yeah, no, there was a singular term back in the day.
It was.
And it was just gay, right?
That's it.
So I'm not out of line with this. I'm sure somebody watching this just went. I'm sure it was an angry white liberal woman. I'm sure. Not all of them are. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, again, who owns the deed to the land? Does the town own the deed to the land?
That will be what is in question.
Because the middle school, the old junior high, the deed. It's all about the deed. True. That's why they have to be able to be careful what they're doing. It's all about the deed. That is not like free.
Right. The last big thing that I thought was important anyway is that there's a commitment to plant more trees and initiate a maintenance program. So one of the things that municipalities, and I'll believe this when I see it, no offense to Jimmy, but he's got to corral the majority of 9 votes to allocate money to capital improvements, and that kind of those maintenance programs, they end up getting funded, and then when the crap hits the fan, they start pulling money out of those budget lines first to make sure they meet their contractual obligations to the employees, because they have to. That's why that's why our assets always look like they look.
Yeah.
So quickly.
It's almost time to have Kurt on the show. Just thinking about that. Always talking about money. It's almost time to have him back on.
I was talking to him today. I mean, he's, by the way, getting back to Bill Schmidt. So Bill, so I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there are several people in Winthrop who have chickens in their yards, and they raise chickens. And I'm not going to, I don't remember all the details. I was on the phone driving and listening to Kurt share the story about what Bill Schmidt has done. Now, Bill, you would think Bill Schmidt, the liberal that he is, the guy that cares about the earth and people and all that, you would think he would want to encourage people growing chickens because A, you can compost their stuff. B, they give eggs. C, you can kill them and eat them. You know, they're a source of food. And they come with very limited problems in terms of, despite what the CDC has put out and the NIH has put out, you'd have to look long and hard to find a chicken to human, what's that flu, avian flu issue with chickens.
Zoonotic. Chickens is zoonotic diseases. It's animals to humans. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's rare. It's extremely rare.
Yeah.
Now, so it used to be you could have a coop that was 5 feet and 2 feet off of your property line in. He's now made it 10 by 10.
Wow, so I'd hate to live next door to chickens, though.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but if as long as there's no
roosters, there's not a rooster.
Walking, yeah, and there's not allowed. They're banned in Winthrop. No roosters, so they're quiet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. I mean, look, I don't know that I want to look at a person's chicken coop, but at the same time, I believe in urban farming. Urban farming is something we should really be thinking about from a compost,
especially the cost of eggs. That whoever owns those chickens should be selling those things,
right? I mean, if people can grow their own food, how many less trips to the grocery store is that across a town of 18, 20,000 people?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And again, what we look at in our neighbor's yard it's our problem. It's their property.
And if they want an ordinance to protect, if you don't want a chicken coop, go to work getting an ordinance passed that stops it. You have a right to try that. You have a right to have a citizens initiative, a ballot initiative. Try it. Yeah. See if you get the signatures for the vote. I mean,
but the town council won't let you because they'll say no. We will make that decision for you.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, do you get it? What are you doing? Hitting my buttons? On another note, by the way, I want to get this out there. I'm sorry. I meant to say this in the beginning. I'm working with Parks and Recs to start a backyard game night on Thursday nights down at the old middle school gym. We're looking to have bocce and cornhole. We're looking between $5 and $10 per head. You don't have to commit to every Thursday, but we'd like you to commit to the majority. I sent out an email to a ton of people, but you can email me, toddsacco.ts@gmail.com, toddsacco.ts@gmail.com. It should be fun if we can get it going.
Dude,
I drive up to on Friday nights playing bocce with my brother. We have a blast. It's great.
Think of this. Knock down the middle school. Junior high, you get open space.
Oh, for now we can use it to play games.
You got benches and trees and a fountain and a bocce ball. Like you get you know what I mean? Like you could do
the outdoor courts are no good up here though. You don't get year-round use.
Yeah. Well,
actually, you could. You know what you could do is you could have it like a picnic type table with a roof and with walls that are easy to take down and store for the summer.
Do it. I think they should bring the steps back.
I'd be open to it.
I've been thinking about this. I think they should bring the steps at the top of Locust Street. They used to have steps. The town would put these wooden steps. They should bring those steps back.
Why?
They should bring back the steps so people don't have to go all the way down to up the Highlands Beach. They walk down the stairs, then they walk down the stairs, then they walk all the way over here because it's quiet. Then they got to walk. If you have those steps, that they used to have the wooden steps, they'd lift up those wood blockers that are there. And you'd walk right down these steps right onto the beach. They had them at the top of almost every street or every other street. That'll never happen.
Well, start a petition.
Let's see if they'll vote on it. Let's get someone to vote on that.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, man. What else?
That's it. No, that's it. We got it all.
Let me see. I agree. Knock down the old middle school, but what about the auditorium? The auditorium doesn't get used. I can't think it gets used enough to justify it staying.
Right.
You got a brand new auditorium at the high school. I guess it's beautiful, right? So that would have to go because I'm sure that place is antiquated. Electrically, you can't. You'd have to pay to bring that up to date. It's not like they have plays in Winthrop and they bring them in from out of town like off-Broadway shows at the auditorium in Winthrop. You're not doing shows in there, So again, that would cost a lot of money to bring that up to standards and up to par. Full of mold. Well, yeah, it's got to go. It's got to go.
Well,
maybe even the gym. Maybe even the gym.
You may get what you want, my brother. You may get what you want.
I think everyone's going like, what should we put there? How about nothing? Nothing. And that would be beautiful. It would be a huge open space in the middle of the town. A big, beautiful open space. It would be great. You already got the gazebo over there at Ingleside Park, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. We got to wrap this up.
All right, go say hi to your wife.
Yeah, exactly. She just got home at like 7:30. I had a little bit of dinner with her. I was like, I got to go do the live stream. She's like, okay, good luck. So yeah. Want to take us out, buddy?
I mean, come on. Isn't my story getting old, people? Pay attention locally, please. All politics starts at the local level. Watch your school budget, even if you don't have kids in it. That's where all your money's going. 15% and 40% in Woburn. You're all doomed. Thank you for watching. Please share. We love having you. Talk soon.
And next week, I want to talk more about the Winthrop Middle School and the elementary school. I want to know what the status is. Oh, we're going to start talking. We haven't forgot about that. The status of another book being put into their resource right next to Jack and Jackie. We have not forgot that. And we still want to talk about, again, the middle school and its outrageous dress code. We're not done with that. They think we forget these things.
I didn't forget.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The engine that runs this machine. Without you, it'd just be me and Todd. Sometimes we argue. No, we don't really argue. No.
Disagree.
And if you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching this long. And we'll see you next Monday.